Mr. Adedeji will be taking that as well. And the third week, I'm going to be taking the class for the third week. In the first instance, we're going to have these free 3 classes, and then we'll see what we can do thereafter. Let me welcome you once again. I'm sorry I can't begin to mention your names one by one, but I welcome everybody. And I'd like to use this time to tell you that we are using the free version of the Zoom link. So please, in the next 45 minutes, 40 minutes thereabouts, we are going to be logged out. So we are going to have a break for 10 minutes after the first logout. So you log in back again after 10 minutes when this session is ended, so that we can complete what we have to do. You know, you log in again with the same link after 10 minutes when we are logged out. Is that okay by everybody? Do you hear what I just said?
Yes, we heard you, sir.
Okay, that's fine. So that's great. So yes, I want to say that the presentation today is going to be for 40 minutes. I'm going to do, and thereafter we are going to have the opportunity to ask our questions for another 15 minutes. So, and that will just be all that we have to do today. So let me start by introducing to us. I've said, I think we have Mr. Olatunde Adedeji here on board with us as well. He's trying to connect his audio. He's the one that will be taking us next week. Mr. Tunde Adedeji he finished from Obafemi University Microbiology, apparently. Today is not the time to read his citation. We'll be doing that extensively next week. But then he is also a co-founder of Mo Websites, you know, and he's based in Lagos. He's going to be taking us next week.
My name is Dr. Michael
Today, I'm going to be talking about who is going to be taking us today, who is
I work in the area of artificial intelligence.
Somebody is playing that at the background. Please, you can try to mute that. Mute it.
Innovation management, working in the area of policy.
Mute it, please. So please, we don't want us to be interrupting, please. I like us to really enjoy this session together. So let's try and unmute. Anytime you want to ask any question, just try to possibly put it in the chat box, or you raise up your hand during the Q&A session. But then if you can't wait till Q&A section, just ensure that you type it in the chat box. We would attend to it as soon as possible. So today I'm going to be giving the baton to Dr. Ameye to take a lead in what we're going to have today. But before then, let me quickly give a brief introduction about, or maybe citation of Dr. Sanyaolu Ameye. He's actually a consultant, otorhinolaryngologist. I'm sorry, this thing is difficult for me to pronounce. I'm sure he's going to assist me to pronounce it. I've been trying to rehearse it. I couldn't rehearse it.
Otorhinolaryngology.
Can you come again?
Otorhinolaryngology. That's
you can see that.
And throat.
Good.
That's ear. Oto is ear. Rhino is nose. Laryngology, throat.
For short, let me put it E-N and T. Or what do you do?
E-N-T.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's a consultant in E-N-T, you know, both head and neck surgeon. And he graduated from University of Ibadan as a medical doctor in 1999. That's a long time. And then he's also a fellow of the West African College of Surgeons, ENT as well, and National Postgraduate Medical College in ENT as well. Now, a practicing medical doctor and teacher. He has been in OAU for a number of years, and it's been doing well. So also has been in IT. He has been in IT and tech enthusiast since medical school, programming experience and IT experience of over 25 years. With regards to IT, he has devoted his attention to data science in the last 5 years. In fact, incidentally, we have written 2 academic papers together, myself and Dr. Ameye. So it is not today that we started, you know, working together. We've been together for some years, and that's fine. So presently, deepening his knowledge in data science and AI with the hope of specializing in applications in medical practices, image processing, computer vision, specialized medical LLM. So that's fine. Thank you so much. So I'm going to give the baton to Dr. Ameye. I say we welcome you. Feel free to share your screen as you take the button. You have the next 40 minutes. Though I know we can't have the entire 40 minutes in this stream. We are going to be logged out. I'm sure maybe in about 30 minutes thereabout. So, but then thereafter, we're going to have a break for another 10 minutes. And after that break, when we are shut down, we log back in again using the same platform, using the same link, and then we can continue, conclude, and then we can have 15 minutes Q&A where people will be opportunity to ask 1 or 2 questions. So thank you. Over to you, Dr. Mayor.
Okay, good morning, afternoon, evening to everybody, because I cannot assume that we are all in the same part of the world at every point in time. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share part of my knowledge in data science. And sorry, I'm trying to share my screen. Okay. And what we're actually talking about today is actually Python for data science. Please, the first caveat is that Python is not synonymous with data science. As a matter of fact, Python is just a tool, but a programming language, just like many other programming languages out there. Why Python is because of so many reasons. So, and most times when we talk about data science, you find that most scientists actually they use Python. So that is why we are talking about it. Like I said, the central role in data science is not debatable. It is actually much easier to learn. I was programming in so many other languages. As a matter of fact, I was doing more of R by the time I met Dr. Awole before I now migrated entirely to Python. And also, you can transfer your other experiences from other languages. The knowledge of variable is still similar. There's no change. Of course, the way we declare variable in Python is different from the way you declare in Kotlin or Visual Basic or C# or C++ or whatever. But the same principle still apply. Of course, it's open source, meaning there are tons of free stuff out there and also tons of libraries. And these libraries are actually they are the one that actually have functionality to the language. Like we always, you are going to use so many libraries in this course, and we always say in computing, don't reinvent the wheel. One of the principles, don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, if somebody has done something that you can use, why not just use it? And somebody has defined the wheel already, and you're trying to define your own wheel. Unless you are changing the wheel to square shape instead of round shape, then why waste your time? Why not focus on something else? So Python has tons of libraries already made for data science. So and that is what makes it so central. So and in this course, I actually thought my session will be next week. So I was going to use this week to prepare. Set up my environment on how to set up your environment on how to for this course, but I was corrected at this week. So essentially, this is a session on Python for data science. So of course, basically you need Python. The environment we use here, which I have used for so many years, is the Anaconda package, which allows me to manage my environment and allow me to manage the Jupyter Notebook. We'll talk more about Jupyter Notebook in the course. Of course, nowadays, you don't need to go through all those stress, and Google has been magnanimous to provide what we call Colab, and Dr. Awole has promised to talk to you about Colab. So I don't need to waste too much time on Colab. So I'll just take you briefly through setting up Anaconda. Straightforward, easy to use. So what is our learning pathway when we are talking about data science, really? As you know, data science or an AI, depending on who is defining or who is writing this thing. Sorry, excuse me, sorry. Let me just send a message to the person that I'm in the meeting. Okay, or meeting. Okay. So depends on what. Can you see my screen clearly?
Yes, very well.
Yes. So many. So I put Python on one hand, meaning that everything leads back and forth to Python at the end of the day for the purpose of this course. I'm not saying Python is the only language for data science. And under it, we have machine learning, deep learning. I mean, the whole box itself is AI, artificial intelligence. We have concepts or constructs like machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, natural language processing, large language model, which is a typical example is ChatGPT that most people talk about nowadays. So there are so many much more. So it may not be too easy to organize a course that will take people through all these things. So technical, for me, I think we focus more on machine learning. Eventually, we are going to define a learning path for whoever is going to be part of this seminar or this part of this group or create course. Because when you get to things like deep learning, computer vision, then you start talking about matrices, and it's not everybody that needs that. What I always advise is that even with the machine learning that we know, there are so many applications out there. And it's actually the first natural place that everybody will dive into, even if you are taking any course on data science, anywhere, any part of the world or anywhere. And the other approach I also suggest is that there's nobody that can say you are 100% with any language. As a matter of fact, these languages also evolve. They change, they have versions, they evolve, the constructs eventually. For example, I was programming for a long time until years ago. Suddenly, there was nothing called a tuple. There's a kind of variable called a tuple. It was not in existence then. So suddenly one day I just saw in one of my mail, somebody defining something tuple, and it was so you keep learning. If you have to wait until you have that you have become a virtuoso in Python before you start, then you get frustrated. So what I always recommend is that you get some workable skills that can help allow you to follow some of these codes to some reasonable extent. And once you can follow this code to some reasonable extent, you start trying your hands on some of these things. So then we dive into the aspect of machine learning first and see how far we can go with that, because machine learning itself is a big topic. Like I've said, everything is still under what we call artificial intelligence, which is already living with us. We should not have the belief that artificial intelligence is until you have a robot taking over your job. When you go to Amazon to order, a recommender system there is running a very high code, some machine learning in the background for you. I was playing with my handsets yesterday. I was trying to configure my camera, and I saw that detect smile. Your camera that can detect smile is looking at some parameters on your face, doing some calculating in the background to know that you're actually smiling. For the computer, for the handset to take picture, it takes picture automatically when you are smiling. You set it up and you can take. So all these things are already part of AI that is living with us. So it is everywhere already. It's not like, oh, AI is going to take over the world. We are being led by a lot of here, and we are generating tons of data which machines are learning from, and they are using to guide whatever we do. So let's us talk about this machine learning. Of course, we all know we have supervised learning, meaning you know the answer, but you are giving the machine or the computer or your algorithm the data to see how well your machine can predict the answer. That is why we call it supervised learning. And the common example, I believe a lot of people here are academicians, you know your logistic regression. We actually don't call it's a misnomer. Really, people prefer classifier because you're only classifying somebody is alive or the person is dead, somebody is awake or person is sleeping. Somebody is a classifier. It classifies into group, and it can classify into two groups, which makes it logic 0 or 1. Is it a cat, a dog, a donkey? So that's classification. And we have so many algorithms. Example, like I am under classification, like I said, logistic or regression. Decision trees can do both classification. We call decision tree cards, classification and regression tree. Knives by classifier, k-nearest neighbor classifier. So many of them. I'll just put some basic ones that we will hopefully touch on later on. Of course, we have regression. Everybody uses linear regression, simple or multiple. Decision tree, like I said, can also do some linear regression functionality. Random forest is just an ensemble method. It's like you're gathering many trees make a forest. So you are now having many trees predicting your answer instead of just one tree, many trees, and voting. Okay, you said your prediction is 10. Another one said the prediction is 4. Another one said it's 20. Okay, averaging everything to give a result. Support vector machine, also KNN also can also do that regression. Then we have unsupervised learning. You are just giving tons of data, and somebody says, as a data scientist, make sense of this data. Of course, especially example is it's not that you have any answer. There's no answer. You just want, okay, I'm giving you this ton of data. Can you give me some insight? Can you give me some insight? Okay, somebody goes to a store. Not 1 million people have gone to our store to buy stuff. We want to even segment them to try and understand our customer. Okay, we've taken their height, their weight, their eye color. Can we segment them to know that maybe the people with blue eye color tend to buy more expensive products than people with brown eye color? So that is clustering. You are putting people in bats. So we have hierarchical clustering, we have k-mean clustering. There are so many other clustering techniques. We also have techniques for dimensionality reduction. You have collected samples or data, and you have like maybe 30 variables or 50 or 100 variables. Of course, this does not work well at times with some machine learning algorithms. So you want to see that, is there a way I can combine this variable to give me some particular 1 or 2 or 3, depending on your definition, variables that will carry out almost the same function as these 50 or 100 variables I'm supplying. So that is the essential feature of principal component analysis. You are trying to reduce the dimension of your data to make your algorithm work faster. Note that if your machine is running machine learning algorithm also, it also needs a lot of memory and space to run. With so many dimensions to your data, also makes the work, the data crunching of your processor or your GPU or CPU more difficult. Okay, so that is the technical, but there are still some other techniques. Also, we have the T-distributed stochastic neighbor embedding, and that is also, actually, we use that to more or less visualize higher dimensional data. You know, that makes it easier. It's a concept that one needs to really explain very well, because it actually particularly not in the same principle as the way we calculate PCA in machine learning. So please feel free to post any comment or chat or question if you have. So my own approach to this, because it is not just about jumping to coding and talking about what Python can do. Almost everybody knows how robust and strong Python is for data science. Is that I will approach my own counseling with, like I've said, learn usable Python as much as you can learn and dive into the machine learning as soon as possible. Then it's important to look for practical application in your domain. If you can't think about it, just Google application of machine learning in biochemistry or artificial intelligence. You will see tons of material. Some of them will be dizzying and overwhelming, and you may not even understand some of the language. But I think part of the essence of courses like this is to, or a course like this is to let you understand the lingo, to understand all the things they are talking about. Like for me, the first time I saw this terminology, I just did not understand what is a lot of noise in the background. Hello, everybody's making
No,
noise.
don't worry. Continue. I will try to
Okay.
check that person and then see if I can mute.
So it was so challenging. So, but now, if you talk about this now, I understand some of this language, I can communicate. So, like I've said, look for application in your domain, and if you have, and as a data scientist, You are going to have jobs in other domain. I am in healthcare, so I'm comfortable with healthcare. Let's say I have a job in banking domain. They give me tons of data. It's also good thing to research. Try and learn about their language. If you have to do, because if you don't understand their business process, you may not even understand the data. Mind you, you must have that data investigator mindset because you want to understand the data you have. I will give you an example. I just finished one hackathon now where we asked to predict something, and part of the variables they gave us was the date of opening. Of course, the date of opening is not going to work with my machine learning. So from that date of opening, I need, okay, if it's going to help me in predicting what I want, I needed to calculate the duration, whether in days or months, from opening to the day I'm running my algorithm, whether it has any influence on their revenue. We were supposed to predict revenue that they generated. So I mean about the so you need to understand the lingo, the domain in which you are working. Of course, use search engine liberally. Please don't let anybody deceive you. There's no super coder anywhere. All these ones that you watch in film that somebody sit down and be writing code, tons of code. You are going to write so many codes that will give you that red error. You are going to see it. So use search engine, make references, and now with AI, things like ChatGPT, all those ones, you can have lots of assist with your work. Wow. So don't believe that your code that somebody you have to cram everything. There are so many libraries, for example, out there, even some that I just discovered this weekend that I have to use for my work that I didn't know was there before. But in getting an error while trying to run my algorithm, so the error brought that, why not use this? I went and did the research for the next 1 or 2 hours, looking at it, okay, and I tried it. So that's part of it. Then whatever work you start with now, whether when we go into Jupyter Notebook, please don't discard. As you build on your work, you are going to reuse your code. So I always have my strategy that most of my work are actually in the cloud anytime I'm doing it. You know? Because you are going to learn from so many sources, pull code from this one code. And let's say you have another work that you need similar code. Instead of wasting your energy, why can't you just go to your previous work and copy the code and just modify as appropriately? Of course, if you are advanced enough, you can actually develop what we call packages or use that. I guess maybe that will be an overkill for most people for now. So I always keep all my works, you see them, they are there. So if I remember, I want to plot this chart, I want it to look this way, or I already plotted this chart in this similar way for somebody before in the past. So, okay, fine, cool. I just go up and open the Jupyter Notebook, just copy the code. Of course, because I understand the language, I can modify the code to suit the present work easily and use it. So don't discard your work, no matter how rough. So now let's talk about the environment. Like I said, Professor Awule has promised to go through to discuss Anaconda, Colab with you. So maybe I will skip that, but it would have been nice if you could know how to use Colab because that spares you the agony of having to install this. But to install Anaconda, it's pretty easy. Just go to their, let me just search for Anaconda. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, yes.
So you can go to Anaconda and you can go. I don't want to download it. Let's go to their site. Go to Anaconda site, and this is the site. And you can download the Anaconda from. Sorry, let me move this back. See my way. Okay. Download the Anaconda from here, and once you download it, you run in installation. If you do so many things for you, you also install Python for you. And once you finish the installation and you run it, you have something like this. You can see my screen. It may not look exactly like this because at times you keep adding and changing and adding more packages for you, stuff for you to install. But I can assure you that you have Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook in both. Okay, my sharing is paused.
It's still on. We can see it. We can see it.
But still sharing is paused. You can see my Anaconda.
We can see Anaconda. We can see the 2023 State of Data Science report is now live.
Okay, so it's showing my browser. So let me stop. Okay, so let me go back to my. I think it's sharing browser, not my screen. Okay, okay. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, let me go back to. So when you launch, you are going to see something like this. Of course, you may not look exactly like this, but I can assure you that you are going to have Jupyter Lab and Notebook. And somebody always asks me, what's the difference? We all started with a Notebook, but I sort of prefer the Jupyter Lab now. Essentially the same thing. It's only that the Jupyter Lab environment is extensively, and you have tons of extensions that also help your work. Remember, I said it's open source, so people are developing stuff that make your work easier. And one place I particularly find it interesting is when we go into the Notebook, you will see an example of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. So let us dive in. So I put this is
Mr.
when you open
AJ,
your notebook.
if I have to mute you again the fourth time, I may have to ask you to go, please. You don't have to unmute yourself. This is the first time I'm unmuting you, please. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay. No problem. So when you get your Jupyter notebook, this is Jupyter Lab interface. So you can always create your notebook and see notebook. And this is a typical notebook. It's blank. Of course, to ask you to separate the Python you want to use. So Python kernel. So now, if you looking at this interface, this is what we call. You can see my mouse moving. Yeah, you can see my caret blinking. Yeah, so that's a cell. That is a cell. Now, a cell can either contain either code or text. Text is very good for commenting. So you don't run code in the text. So each of these cells actually can contain code that you can run. And you can create more cells just by clicking. I can click to add more. And I can change a cell from one type to another. Like I want to change this first cell to give preamble about my work. So I can always come here and change it to Markdown. The language of the text is called Markdown. So I can change the text here and type, oh, this is data science class, okay? And change the fonts, the boldness, the whatever I want to change. Change it to heading, and then click, I run. And this, put this here. So this is not a code, this is just a text, a comment. And this helps you in organizing your work into sections. Because when you have these sections, when you go into Colab, you actually see the same thing. When you are in Jupyter Notebook, you may not see it like this. You can do it in Jupyter Notebook, but then you need to start using some, like for heading one, and you need to use hashtag, then the text that you want to put. But the most important thing, like I have explained, is that you must be sure when you are in any cell, you have to be looking up here on this bar, toolbar. Am I in a markdown cell or a code cell? If I change this to code now and I run it, it's going to give error because Python will not understand what the heck is H1. This is HTML. It doesn't understand what H1 is. So that is why you must be sure of what you are running when you are what this thing is referencing. Sorry, when you are running. Why is it okay? Still changing back to okay, yeah. So now it's possible that when you run your own, you may not see what we call a WYSIWYG editor like you have. I have installed tons of extension on my own Jupyter, so that's why you are seeing it in an easy format to enter like this. It doesn't always appear like that. But if you are using Jupyter, you can easily search for those extensions too and install those extensions. So you can see it. So like I said, this is just all I've said. You can add more by clicking plus. This is the traditional way, but because of the extension I've installed, I can add using this button here or this button here, and I can also delete this cell if I don't want it again. I can move it up. You'll see the code. You see an entry down in the line, which was a mistake, was not supposed to be. I could try to move it up, but I just let it go to highlight what I'm talking about. So this is it. And these are the different level of heading that you can have. So this is the code I'm talking about. It was supposed to be my preamble, like a note, but one way or another, I don't know how I forgot it there. So if I want to move it up, I can actually move it up back to where I want to move it to. So I'm moving it up now gradually. Let's just leave it there. So these are the cells, are empty cells. Like I've said, I can delete because they are not serving any purpose, but they are not disturbing me. And this is a test. This is for test. You can look up again and see that it's showing markdown. Yeah. Like how many minutes do I have more?
Like 3 minutes.
Wow. Okay. So let's just go quickly. Python, just like those who are taking course in half, is as simple too. Without using any library out of the box, I can see like a simple addition. So we are going to follow this notebook in our lesson. I prepared the lesson up, down to the last page on introductory. So anywhere we stop today, we can continue the next time. So of course, if you run a code, you can see the result. Result shows underneath. Now you can see 2 plus 6. I have 2 code here. I said 2 plus 6 and 4 plus 4. But when you run it, you only see 8 because Python will only display natively only the last code. I'm sorry, I'm talking about digital notebook. Yeah. But if I want to show both, then I can use the print command to show the result, both results. We can even change it so that we'll be sure that it's different code we are running. Let's change this to 9. Okay. So we click on this. So you take the first one and second one. Now, you can also print things that are text. We talk about data types later on, the variables type. So print hello world. Yeah. So hello, everybody start programming with hello world anyway. So, and also we can concatenate string. That means you can join words together.
Sorry, Dr. Ameye, let me come in now. Here. If you are logged at any moment now, we are going to have a break for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes that we are logged out, you log in with the same Zoom link again so that we can continue.
We have less than 3 minutes now.
And so that's why I'm just trying to pass that announcement. So once we are logged out now, we are going to break for 10 minutes. I will come back again to complete the class. And then thereafter, we're going to have question and answer period while we do real hands-on the next time we're coming. Still today. Thank you.
Okay. So, like, we can join characters together to form a sentence. You can see I actually put a code in between to add 2 plus 4 together. So see 2 plus 4 and 4, 6. So you can also see now, because I will talk more about handling string, but because I said you should not put a separator, that's the meaning of this code. That is why everything is jumbled together. So, but you can just ignore that now. Now, when we are talking, apart from making comments in your markdown, you will actually make comments in your cells that run code. And when you make comments in your code, in your cells that run code, just put hashtag before. You can see everything turns to string. And you can also make this comment after your code, just like this. So you are adding 2 plus, sorry, this is 2 plus 8. I don't know why I put 2 plus 8. And you can see, so this is a comment. All these 2, 1, 2, they are just comments. Now you can also join this word together, but when you use the plus sign, it does not have space in between the word. You just add everything together. So, but we'll still do string manipulation later on. You can, and in this case, there is space because where I'm putting the apostrophe or the quote, I left some space. So we'll still go into all this one later. So I want to stop here. So now, let me just make a comment about this. When you are dealing with variables, which we'll go into later, you cannot add orange to banana. So in this case, I'm trying to add a string to a text, and that is why Python does not understand. Are you trying to add 2 numbers together, or are you trying to add 2 strings together? So that is why we have error. And when you have error in Python, always look at where you have this arrow, and the last line, you have an insight into the kind of error you have. So let me stop here because I think we have less than 30 seconds or so.
Okay,
and,
that's fine.
When we are through, we can go into variables. Then when we finish the way, maybe that's where we stop for today. And this. So
okay.
for next.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ameye. So when we are coming back again for the last lap, we are going to take our questions. It's going to go into real practical for the next 30 minutes after we come in, and then we'll take 15 minutes for question.